Hey everybody out there, this is Story Dude coming at you once again with some great stories that we've been finding on the internet that I will be presently reading for you. Am I the a-hole for asking a disabled person to move seats on the bus for my child? I am a 32-year-old woman, and I was on the bus with my 5-year-old daughter when we got on at a busy stop. There were no empty seats available, except for one near a person using a wheelchair, who was apparently a 40-year-old male. I asked the person if they could move their wheelchair to another spot so that my daughter and I could sit together, but the person declined, saying that they needed the space for their mobility device. I was taken aback and frustrated by this response. I explained to them that my daughter was very young and needed to sit next to me for safety reasons, but they still refused to move. I ended up having to stand for the entire ride with my daughter in tow, which was uncomfortable and tiring for both of us. When I told a friend about what happened, they said I was being an insensitive ableist. They pointed out that the person in the wheelchair had a right to the space they needed and that it was unfair of me to ask them to move. Now, I'm questioning whether or not I was in the wrong for asking the person to move. Am I the asshole for asking a disabled person to move seats on the bus for my child? I think the answer is obvious, so I'm just not going to say anything here. So the child sits and you stand. Simple. You're the a-hole. Yeah, pretty much it, OP. I'm so sorry your legs were tired from standing. Must be hard when the person in the wheelchair can sit the whole time. You're the a-hole. Your kid can sit on your lap, or you can ask someone else to move. A disabled person literally has one spot on the bus they can be at. You're the a-hole. You're the a-hole. You think a person in a wheelchair should move their wheelchair away from themselves so a 5-year-old can have a seat. On what planet? A. They need access to their only way of mobility. B. Pop your kid on your lap. C. Sit your kid and stand. Far out. You're the a-hole, big time. You're the a-hole. Just because you have a child doesn't automatically give you priority over others. If the bus is too crowded, take a cab. Otherwise, you're going to have to deal with the downside of public transportation. You are frustrated at the response because you're so accustomed to getting your way. I too have a child the same age. Plan better. Am I the a-hole for calling my girlfriend selfish for refusing to learn sign language for my daughter? My daughter Ruby was born mute. She can understand words, but we use sign language to communicate. While she can use her phone to write, obviously she prefers to sign. The issue is my girlfriend Amanda. We've been dating for around 9 months and introduced our children around 3 months ago. They don't know sign language, so communication with Ruby was awkward at first. She hates having to write or use her phone at home. So I taught Amanda some basic signs beforehand, and I've continued teaching her and Mia more in this time. So, who's Mia? All right, anyway. So I taught Amanda some basic signs beforehand, and I've continued teaching her and Mia at home. Mia is getting a lot better, actually, but Amanda has apparently decided it's too hard and refuses to learn anymore. She says that it's unnecessary since Ruby can understand her and communicate other ways. While Ruby is usually willing to do that for them, she doesn't enjoy it and finds it frustrating. I told Amanda she's being selfish and lazy, that it's not fair to put all the effort on Ruby. It's one thing if she doesn't get it after years, but it's only been a few months, and it's just ridiculous. We got into a fight over it, and she basically called me an a-hole and said it's not her fault, that she struggles with it. But that doesn't mean just give up. If she wants to be in our life, it's the bare minimum effort to put in. I clearly think she's just being selfish, while she thinks I am an a-hole and being unfair. I vented to my brother, and he agrees with Amanda that I can't force her to learn and not everyone is good with language, and that Ruby doesn't need it and I'm coddling her. I'm honestly still pissed off, but I do love Amanda. She's normally thoughtful and kind, and I guess it's possible it's just me being overprotective of Ruby. I think it's a reasonable expectation, but I'm starting to doubt myself. Not the a-hole. This should be a dealer breaker for you, says Pepper90210. Yeah, I'm pretty split on this one, but I don't want to say that Amanda is the a-hole for not willing to learn, but it's more that you guys are just not compatible. So I think that's the main issue here. It's like she doesn't have to learn sign language, but she also doesn't have to be in your life. And she's probably not the right person if she's not willing to do it. Not the a-hole. Do you see a future with a woman who point blank refuses to speak to your daughter? Hard to see. I'm actually going to go against the grain and say, nah. This is your girlfriend, not your fiance. It's only been 9 months. Learning a new language, including sign language, is hard and time consuming. It is, in fact, a lot to ask of someone who doesn't have a solid and enduring relationship with the person they're expected to learn for. If y'all were getting married, absolutely she's the a-hole. But at this point, if she's overwhelmed by trying to learn, I think that's fair. You want somebody who's going to make communicating with your daughter a priority now, that's also fair. It just means you guys may be incompatible. I pretty much agree with this comment. I feel, however, that it's like at 9 months, it really is at the limit of where it's starting to be long term enough where, potentially it is pretty weird if she cannot communicate with the daughter. That's a real tough one. I'm sorry, OP, that you can't find a better match. Not the a-hole, you are being a good father. And that Ruby doesn't need it and I'm coddling her. It's her language. If she spoke Polish, you'd want Amanda to learn Polish, especially since Ruby cannot speak English. Amanda and your brother are the a-holes here. Yeah, I kind of forgot about the brother. Let's forget about Amanda, but what your brother said is terrible. I mean, I'm wondering if your brother learned how to sign so he can talk with Ruby, and whether he thinks that is coddling or whether it's just being loving. That's pretty weird that your brother would say that. Your girlfriend being unwilling to make a minimal effort to communicate with your child in a way that the child is most comfortable with is a bit of an a-hole move. But so is expecting your girlfriend of 9 months to learn an entire language to communicate with a child they are not parenting. It seems like you've drawn a line in the sand that Amanda learns to sign for your kid, or she's not going to be in your life. Amanda has shown you she's not up for it, so respond accordingly. Everyone is shameful here. Well, that's been it for today's edition. As always, we appreciate you tuning in, and we look forward to reading you in the comments. And until next time, y'all take care now.